Boom! Talaga to si BBM. From Magellan Jr., nag-level up na talaga. Keynote speaker of the Shangri-La Dialogue. First
The
ever
first Philippine president.
Philippine president and one of the few Southeast Asian leaders, right, who have given this keynote speech. It's a big, big, big deal. And kudos to President Marcos Jr. He emphasized na this is not about me, it's about recognition of the Philippines' perilous position, us standing up to China essentially. And I think he was a bit too humble. He should have also said the Philippines' growing importance, right, as a rising middle power and important member of the ASEAN family. So, first of all, let's talk about BBM's keynote speech, because I would say this is so far his most important foreign policy address. And I think it sets really the tone for the Philippines' positioning over the next years under Marcos Jr. presidency. Do you think this is his debut as a global statesman? Again, I know there are many people are gonna raise their eyebrows, but I'm gonna talk about Zelensky soon. I don't think Zelensky would come all the way to Manila and meet Marcos if he's just a Magellan Jr., right? So let's talk a little bit about this guy. Let's give him some credit where credit is due. I think the speech was quite good. I would have written it similarly with some edits and some embellishments and improvements here and there. But yeah, pretty okay. Pretty good performance. And many people liked it. A lot of people I followed on Twitter, my friends from Australia, across the region, they really appreciate it because he also emphasized smaller countries, South Pacific countries. He emphasized the need for not choosing, but who push both superpowers to talk to each other and sort it out. So very responsible statesman. Hindi yung Team America kami, Team China kayo. Hindi. He was very, very nuanced there. What is your understanding of the Marcos moment there?
Well, hindi naman actually siya debut dahil marami ng build-up eh. Marami ng smaller debut na nangyari, di ba? For 1.5 years, yung pagiging Magellan niya is by increments ay nabibuild yung kanyang international stature. So it didn't happen overnight. Tapos marami siyang mga first na ginawa, no? Halimbawa, yung meeting niya sa Pentagon, yung several trips niya sa US, yung kanyang trilateral with Japan at saka sa US, no? Yung pagpunta niya sa Naval Command ng US sa Hawaii, no? Hindi yan ginagawa ng mga usual na mga heads of state, etc., etc. So, maraming build up mapunta diyan. Maraming mga small parties bago siya pumunta dito sa Shangri-La Forum debut, no? At kaya hindi rin nasorpresa yung mga global leaders dun sa nangyari kahit nag-scale up siya. Nag-scale up siya vis-a-vis China, no? Calling China what it really is, no? A superpower aggressor dito among smaller states, no? Hindi naman niya binitawan yung ASEAN, binanggit niya yung ASEAN centrality, while at the same time saying that this is not just about Southeast Asia. This is about freedom of navigation na concern yung buong mundo. Medyo siguro may weaknesses lang yung kanyang sinabi na 50% of global trade passes through the South China Sea. Baka hindi naman ganun
So
kalaki.
medyo 30% is the upper limit. Medyo na-exaggerate.
Yeah.
And even that is contested by scholars.
Yes. So mga 25%.
Medyo maharlika
Pwede na.
fund ang
Mga ganun, mga 25 pwede na. Pero well, at least ang point naman ay this is one of the most important sea lanes in the world, no? Yun naman ang mensahe. At hindi yan lost sa mundo. Kahit sabi nung Chinese general, ini-invoke mo ang ASEAN centrality tapos humihingi ka ng tulong sa buong mundo. 'Di ba? Yun ang balance sa kanya. Exactly because the South China Sea issue is an issue for the entire world. Not because of possible confrontation, but because of economic impact, no? Dito sa buong mundo, hindi lang dito sa rehiyon. At yung audience niya na Filipino audience at yung mundo ay binanggit niya na napakahalaga ng kahit isang buhay. Kahit isang buhay ay napakahalaga. Ito ay crossing the Rubicon. This is almost close to a declaration of war, no? Wala siyang sinabi na i-invoke natin ang Mutual Defense Treaty. Wala siyang sinabi na immediately makikipaggera tayo. No, na laging sinasabi ng mga detractors at saka ng mga China spokesperson dito. No, lalo na yung isa, kung babasahin mo siya, nasisiraan ba siya ng ulo? Pupunta siya ng gera laban sa China? Hindi naman yun yung essence
Sino ba
ng
to? Ito ba yung
sinabi.
libel case ba to? Ito ba?
Oo. Hindi. Yan yung isa, yung taga Manila Times, no? Oo. Nasisiraan na ba siya ng ulo? Makikipag-away siya sa China. So, ganun. So, yun yung, pero may isa na hindi masyadong napag-usapan na napaka-importanting bahagi ng speech niya. Ito yung dati pang sinasabi ni Justice Carpio. The 1898 Paris Agreement, no? The 1900 Washington Agreement. Yung 1898 agreement between Spain and the United States at yung expansion ng agreement na yon do sa Washington Agreement with the United States, no? Yun yung hindi masyadong nabibigyan dahil siguro baka kinakailangan na mas mahabang paliwanag anong ibig sabihin nun. Pero medyo defining yan dahil siya yung unang presidente na binanggit yan as a basis not only for our archipelagic territory, kung hindi yung territory natin dun sa mga islands outside of the archipelago. Yun yung sinasabi niya. At
Ron, I
siguro,
find that interesting because
yeah.
that quite contradicts position of JPE and Estelito Mendoza, who work for his,
Yes.
right? So interesting,
Yes.
you saw the Marcos foreign policy confidence. I mean, alam ko, batang-bata ka pa noon, but one of the strengths of Marcos Sr. was sobrang kampante siya sa international arena, and he saw himself as a global South leader. I mean, non-aligned movement kind of leader while being a U.S. ally. So he had that kind of dexterity to him. So, but it's quite interesting that BBM essentially made the Justice Carpio position against his own legal, chief legal advisor, and one of the key, of course, essentially legal buffers of the Marcos family. I'm talking about Celito Mendoza, for instance, right? So I find it interesting. I don't know who is the one advising him. How did it get to him? But in fairness, I think BBM deserves credit for that. I would also add, we had Justice Carpio here yesterday, and then kanina rin kausap din natin si Powell on this issue. I think what happened here is the president, by saying that pag may namatay dito, ibang usapan na ito, the importance of that, Ronald, is that for a long time, ang China ay gumagamit ng gray zone because ang idea is that unless China uses guns or cannons, hindi pwede ma-activate yung MDT. But what we are saying now is, wala akong pake kung gumamit ka ng water cannon or totoong cannon. Pag may namatay na Pilipino, eto na to. We're in that territory potentially, diba? So in that sense, you change the conversation from a modality-based understanding of the parameters of MDT to an outcome-oriented understanding of the MDT. Meaning, pag may namatay na Pinoy, kahit anong ginamit mo mali. So in short, watch out and don't do anything funny and stop using these water cannons and anything like that because lethal ito, potentially lethal ito, and you're really, really playing with fire here. Now, I want to ask you, Ronald, also.
Pero yun yung mahalaga din dito, Richard. Ikaw ay isa ka sa mga foremost students at saka experts on geopolitics, no? Pero geopolitics is not just about treaties. Geopolitics is about relationships, it's about decisions, no? Countries, states can make decisions not necessarily based on treaties. Diba? Yun yung nature ng geopolitics, no? Kaya yes, meron tayong mutual defense treaty, but it's a treaty. It's a treaty which can be invoked, which may not be invoked. But at the same time, there are other factors at play. It's about relationships and about decisions.
And domestic
Kahit
politics.
kahit
Yeah,
wala
domestic
sa
politics, yeah.
halimbawa, if there's 1,000 civilians killed by a foreign aggressor, kahit technically ay hindi mo pwede siyang gamitin to invoke a treaty, those are 1,000 dead civilians. Where decisions can be made based on that event, no? Based on that event. At kung papayag ang mundo na i-sanction yung gagawa nun, or worse, no? Papayag yung mundo na siya ay parusahan, then it will happen. No, it will happen. Then it becomes geopolitical. No, yun yung
There's the politics there always,
yeah,
including
yeah.
domestic politics. Yeah. I mean, Ukraine is not a US treaty ally, but the US is giving them tens of billions of dollars annually to defend them. So
Yeah,
you
it's
could,
not a NATO. It's not a NATO
it's not even a
member.
NATO
Not
member. Yeah.
yet. No? Pero ito yung first time na NATO is practically getting near to a war situation. Di ba? Yun yung, so,
Yeah.
yun lang ibig ko sabihin. Treaties are treaties, but what is more important are decisions. No? Based on relationships, based on events.
Exactly. And again, also the domestic politics and decision. I completely agree with you. I mean, that's why my contention against some of the legal international law scholars is they overemphasize the importance of international law. I think international law is one of the toolkits, but it's not the toolkit. At the end of the day, balance of power is important.
Yes.
Leveraging alliances is important. So I completely agree to you with you, Ronald, on that. Before we go to Zelensky, because I think that's a very important issue. We are already talking about Ukraine. Where do you think Marcos is getting it really right? And where do you think the president should still push things further? I want to also rewind a little bit here. Nung panon ni Pinoy, yung panon nyo when you were in power, why didn't the Obama administration clarify yung parameters of MDT? Did you guys push the US to be clear about the parameters of MDT? Yung so-called
Yes.
strategic ambivalence. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Then we end on the note of what Marcos should do moving forward.
Yes, pero ang nangyari kasi noon, 'di ba, yung Asia pivot nangyari nung panahon ni Obama. Pero it just remained as a slogan, 'di ba? Without substance. Hindi nalagyan pa ng laman eh. No, medyo na-divert pa rin yung attention ng US noon sa Syria, sa Afghanistan, sa Iraq, no, yung Crimea, no? Crimea was happening then eh, 'di ba? So, bagaman gusto na ng US na mag-pivot away from their traditional areas of focus at nakikita nila that the hub of the world is happening here in this region, kaya gusto nilang pumunta rito, it's easier said than done. That's why the Asia pivot, kahit nagsimula yan noong panahon ni Obama, ay walang substance, walang wherewithal, walang walang naging for lack of a better term, budget no para diyan. Kaya nanatili pa rin sila
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
dun sa moras ng Afghanistan. Naiwan pa rin sila dun sa problems ng Middle
Bug
East.
down talaga, bug down.
Yung
Yeah.
emerging problem dito sa Eastern Europe through Crimea. So hindi ganun kabilis sila nakapag-adjust. Bagaman, binandera nila yung importance of the new hub of the world, which is Asia.
Of course, Hillary Clinton, the really her important speech on why, the 21st century will be defined in the Pacific century, right? And how US is a Pacific power. I'll end on that note because I want to discuss the other part of my question actually next episode. Pag-usapan natin si Zelensky. I think anyone na hindi bayaran ng Kremlin, anyone na hindi malatatay digong, anyone na medyo hindi masyadong subscribe sa channel nung favorito mo Manila Times columnist, medyo nag-iisip sa buhay, would have some respect for Zelensky. Thank you so much. Pag-usapan natin yan, Secretary Llamas. Mabuhay ka. Okay. This is it. Welcome back, everyone. Ayan, medyo konting, hindi naman delayed. In fairness, ahead of schedule naman tayo, Sir Ronald. May mga nag-echosera na baka nag-OT ka daw sa kabilang channel. Sabi ko, hindi naman siguro masyado. Ako naman may solution ako eh. Pwede naman tayo lahat mag-collaborate para isang baksak na para hindi mapagod ito si Sir Ronald. But obviously, I do things differently. Obviously, I think people know na yung approach natin na medyo iba dito. So I'm sure people will benefit from both kabilang channel at saka dito because 360 talagang ginagawa natin. By the way, of course, bukas po guys, magkakaroon naman kami ng... Sir Ronald, pagod ka na kaya hindi na kita inimbita dito pero next time attack ka namin. So,
Ano yan?
with Kristan naman bukas tayo at saka si Mark Gamboa, RMC naman, RMC. Pag-usapan naman natin in-person podcast na to. So, Sir Ronald, I'm launching na itong mga kapihan. Medyo konyo, Starbucks. Starbucks na kapihan. So, kasama ka na sa next. Ay, siyempre nahiya na ako sa'yo kasi ine-edit ko pa yung ginawa natin sa UP Asian Center.
Inaantay ko nga, eh, inaantay ko nga, eh.
Eto na-arrange ko na. So, eto na yung kapihan natin, medyo konyotik, medyo Starbucks.
Ay, hindi ako puwede diyan hanggang wala